Welcome back to another explainer. Today, we're putting on our paleo detective hats, and we are going to completely shatter those outdated myths of slow, scaly, tail-dragging monsters. Instead, we're reconstructing the fascinating reality of dinosaurs using forensic fossil evidence, biomechanical modeling, and some truly mind-bending alternate history scenarios.
Picture this, a 71-million-year-old deathmatch, perfectly frozen in time. If you had to guess, who wins? The heavily armored herbivore or the swift, feathered predator?
Well, to find out, we have to look at a genuinely groundbreaking discovery. Back in 1971, a Polish-Mongolian expedition out in the Gobi Desert dug up something totally unprecedented. They found a Protoceratops and a Velociraptor literally physically locked together in an epic life-or-death struggle.
But here is the truly wild part about this fossil. These animals didn't actually die from their battle wounds. The sediments around them tell us they were buried alive, simultaneously by either a collapsing sand dune or a sudden, massive sandstorm. It just froze their combat forever in the rock. Talk about bad timing, right?
Section 1. Frozen in deadly combat. Let's dig into the forensic clues left behind by how these animals were positioned. It's like a prehistoric crime scene. The Velociraptor was actively kicking at the throat and abdomen of the herbivore with those famous sickle claws, all while its right hand was physically trapped inside the jaws of the Protoceratops. Meanwhile, the herbivore was in the semi-erect fighting stance. This proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that this was a live hunt, not just some predator scavenging a dead carcass.
So the crucial takeaway here is that this specific fossil finally provided undeniable, direct evidence that non-avian theropods were highly active, lethal predators. It settled a massive, long-standing debate in paleontology and painted a vivid picture of just how ferocious these animals really were.
Section 2. Feathers and hunting tactics.
So exactly how did a predator like this hunt, and what tools did it have at its disposal? Well, if we contrast pop culture with actual science, it's a stark difference. Hollywood trained us to fear a featherless, scaly, reptilian lizard, but the real Velociraptor was covered in well-developed feathers. And we know this for a fact because scientists found quill knobs on the ulna, that's the forearm bone, of a Velociraptor specimen. Those are the exact same bony anchor points used for ligaments that hold feathers in modern birds today.
And this is brilliant because it illustrates that these feathers absolutely were not for flying. Instead, they were intense biomechanical upgrades. The plumage offered camouflage for stealthy ambushes, and even more incredibly, biomechanical modeling shows that these feathers drastically improved aerodynamic control. We're talking up to a 25% increase in maneuverability, enhanced balance during really sharp turns, and they even generated negative lift to help them run up steep inclines. When you combine those feathered adaptations with a lightweight body structure and that lethal sickle claw, Velociraptors were absolute speed demons. Research estimates they could reach sprinting speeds of 40 to 60 kilometers per hour to ambush their prey. Simply terrifying.
Section 3. Courtship and dinosaur parenting. Okay, zooming out from the individual hunt, let's look at why they lived the way they did, focusing on their complex social structures. Obviously, direct observation is impossible today, so to solve behavioral mysteries using only fossilized bone, scientists use a fascinating tool called the extant phylogenetic bracket. It sounds like a mouthful, but basically, researchers look at the modern crown groups that bracket dinosaurs on the evolutionary tree, namely birds and crocodilians. The rule of thumb is, if both modern groups share a behavior, it's highly likely their extinct dinosaur relatives did too. It's how we infer the ways they mated and raised their young. For example, based on paleontologist John R. Horner's research, we know many dinosaurs were sexually dimorphic, meaning the males and females looked different. You know those elaborate horns, huge crests, and bony shields on things like Triceratops or Hadrosaurs? They weren't just for defense. Much like deer antlers today, they evolved primarily as visual displays for courtship rituals and establishing hierarchy for mates.
And once mating occurred, they produced a stunning diversity of eggs. Paleontologists meticulously categorize these by their eggshell microstructure, literally zooming in on the pores and crystallization. It's like a giant puzzle, where different shapes and structures directly correlate to specific dinosaur families, from the bird-like Troodon all the way up to the massive sauropods.
Now this is where it gets kind of heartwarming and honestly very bird-like. The level of parental care was amazing. While some dinosaurs just buried eggs in the dirt, Non-avian coleoreptosaurs, like oviraptors, actually incubated their eggs through direct parental contact. They literally sat on their nests to keep them warm and actively protected their hatchlings, just like modern birds do.
Section 4. What if they survived?
All right, let's zoom out to a planetary scale and look at the tragic end of their timeline, and then explore a wildly speculative, yet scientifically grounded, alternate history. Exactly 66 million years ago, a 9-mile-wide rock slammed into a shallow impact zone in what is now Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula. Hitting with the force of 10 billion Hiroshima bombs, it created a radioactive shockwave and a devastating atmospheric fallout that wiped out 75% of all species on Earth. Game over.
But what if that asteroid had hit deep ocean water instead? The deep water could have absorbed the blast, and dinosaurs might have survived. Over millions of years, they would have evolved right alongside our changing planet. When global temperatures rose by 8 degrees Celsius 55 million years ago, creating lush but less nutritious rainforests, dinosaurs likely would have shrunk in size to adapt. Then, 34 million years ago, as the climate cooled and grasslands took over, we probably would have seen the evolution of long-legged, fast-moving dinosaurs built to sprint across those new plains.
In this alternate timeline, they would have held massive evolutionary advantages over the early mammals of that era. They were already equipped with superior eyesight, more teeth, proportionally larger brains, and incredible adaptability. It actually leads scientists to wonder if mammals would have even been able to evolve into the diverse species we know today. We might not even be here. But let's say human beings somehow managed to evolve alongside them anyway. History suggests it would have been a pretty complex coexistence. Given human population growth and our historical tendency toward excessive hunting, we likely would have driven the largest and most dangerous species to near extinction pretty fast. We might be visiting the remaining giant carnivores today in highly protected wildlife reserves, essentially a real-life Jurassic Park.
Which leaves us with a fascinating final thought to ponder as we wrap up this explainer. Did that asteroid hitting the shallow waters miraculously save our species and pave the very way for human evolution? Or could we have somehow survived, adapted, and thrived in a world ruled by swift, feathered predators? Thank you so much for exploring this micro to macro mystery with me. Keep asking questions and keep learning.